this one, I think. We'll see whether or not MIBR is going to enjoy this one. I think that for me is the big question mark here. They've let Mirage go through for the first time in a long time.
Yeah.
So what have they actually got up their sleeves here?
Well, that's the thing, right? I actually feel like they are bending to their opponent's strengths rather than their own weaknesses. So let's just see how that pans out for them as we... to pistol.
Odds not quite as one-sided as we would have indicated.
No. But look at how aggressive we've got MIBR. They've got just that player in that forward position up mid, just JOTA with backing his teammate. Now, he's got all that information because he's finally cleared things out, pushed up now back towards Catwalk, and Big have just funneled into B.
Tuurtle, dualies in hand, can't really manage to land the shots, and syrsoN hits a cracker of an opener. There are some responses coming through from MIBR. JOTA and Bit doing the lion's share of the duty right now for the Brazilian squad on that CT side, and a little bit of a lurk happening over toward A. Hasn't really worked out for Big. The entries into B, though, are still going relatively well. They know the position of that player on short, and it's just down to Crimbo now as he's lost his only helping hand in tabseN.
A lot of work to do for the youngster. Now he's spotted out both players, so he has the information he needs to work with. He needs to isolate those jewels. He finds JOTA. And now he knows exactly where exit is. And so is patience going to be the name of the game, or is he going to try and craft something here? Obviously, there's the bomb.
Well, he doesn't have a huge amount of time to be patient with, does he, Jim? He's got 30 seconds left as he starts to make that cross and does pretty reliably get that bomb plant down. Now spots out exit, and he's going to start to try to isolate some of those angles, maybe deny the exit from the market window. He has managed to get out, though, and that's going to give him a little more room to play with. Crimbo down to 12 HP. It'll take one bullet only. And Exit is able to save the round for MIBR.
Yeah, Exit had a lot of time to play with. He had that kit up his sleeve. And so a 3K for him in the round. Secures things nicely for MIBR, but got a little hairy there, as you would expect in the pistol. But it's a good start for MIBR. Those dualies were absolutely non-effective at the end of the B halls, but maybe a slight, I guess, glimpse into the future there. Crimbo left in a situation to try and clutch things out. Didn't quite get things his way, but played with a lot of confidence in the round. So hopefully that bleeds into the next few, because they have forced into this. They are going to just try and make these Galils work. Just grouping up towards A. That single flash and, sorry, single smoke and double flash entry here. Contact play.
It was a bit of an interesting pistol round, wasn't it, with that lurk out on A, but not something that Big is going to try to throw in this round. They've got all 5 members sent in the same direction. Exit underneath balcony hasn't been spotted out early enough, and he will punish tiziaN and Crimbo, both falling at his hands, and he's looking for the third there as well. Can't quite manage to hold on to it, but end of the day, very clean A defense from MIBR.
It's about as clean as you'd want, to be honest. So the force from Big has absolutely no effect. So back to the drawing board here. Full eco, one would suspect. If they can sneak a bomb plant, that's fantastic for them, but I don't know, MIBR, they've got all the weaponry now, they've got all the utility. tiziaN really backing himself there. Some deagles. See whether or not they can do some damage. JOTA here just waiting out momentarily. Oh, he's copped a lot of damage initially.
Yeah, but you got to say the initial setups are actually looking really good for MIBR now that they've got the guns in their hands. They fairly consistently have the right players in the right positions. They've got the rifles in particular waiting for the pushes from Big, so they're reading that play pretty well. tiziaN unable to chime in with any more than just the one. And these anti-ecos, anti-force buys have been pretty clean so far from MIBR, so they're building the money up. They're off to a fantastic start here on Mirage, and you know, maybe it's a secret pocket pick from MIBR, something like that. We obviously haven't seen it from them in recent times, but I mean, it's not looking too bad off the rip, but you know, only 3 rounds, so let's not get too far ahead of ourselves.
I think the difference here too is that, you know, you've got a lot of data on MIBR. I mean, look at some of these map reps they're getting in, like 21 map reps on Dust 2. That was banned out.
They're playing a lot of Counter-Strike.
Playing a lot of Counter-Strike, so, you know, there's a lot of data out there on them.
In fact, I think they were even playing a couple of games yesterday in the ESL Challenger as well, right after they'd finished off their Dallas match. they were into the challenger matches. So
no rest.
No rest for the wicked, it seems like, that's for sure. They did have to end up forfeiting one. I mean, it's a lot on your plate when you're playing that many games in a day, so fair enough. But definitely putting in the work, that's for sure. And it seems to be paying off. Another good start to this round for MIBR.
Crimbo goes down early in mid. But, I mean, look at this quadrant of players from MIBR. They've just got focus heavily on mid. They're ready to contest it. And, I mean, Big are just walking straight into this. tabseN does remove chelo. So at least they're starting to forge their way through Big. So there's some positive signs there. And syrsoN picks up another. So MIBR have just got to back off and settle down a little. They want to take these duels in mid, but they've been punished for it this time.
Yeah, it does start to get a bit awkward now for MIBR. JOTA, 15 HP, does start to work his way over toward the B bomb site, but Big, they go silent. They go slow now as well, and they start to make MIBR think. I do wonder, though, have they left this a little bit too late? If they run into Tuurtle, timing goes a little bit awry. tiziaN and syrsoN, both very low HP, get knocked over pretty quick. One mistake is going to drop this round for MIBR. And they can't afford any mistakes with 20 seconds left on the clock.
And this read from MIBR is perfect because they've actually stacked two players towards B. faveN has actually opened up. However, they've still got to remove Tuurtle.
Yeah, he's dancing and trying to survive, but he won't be able to. syrsoN hits the shot with the AWP, and that leaves exit solo. Bomb plant down on B. Big will win the round.
Yeah, MIBR did the best they probably could in that round. Had two players on the B site. They had the player in CT spawn watching the flank through window. So it was effectively a loose B stack. Obviously not having the players on the site, but they opted to try and give themselves the best possible odds. And now exit, only looking for exit frags. As Big will secure their first round, and it's important for them they keep all three players alive. It's just something simple from Big. They all went mid. They went for the contest. MIBR lost out. They had four players at once contesting. They did some damage, but they weren't able to pick up the frags that they needed. And so with those three remaining players left, they had a lot of ground to cover. It's just simple for Big after that. Contact play onto B.
Yep. Starts to change the narrative, doesn't it? MIBR, they have a good start to the series and obviously get the pistol, a couple of good anti-ecos or an anti-force buy in there as well, it must be said. But first gun round, I always feel like, is one that can really dictate how we shape the narrative a little bit. It gives us a good idea of how the game's going to play out. And when you see Big start with a player deficit and then go on to win the round with 3 players alive, you know, you start to sort of chew through that one a little bit and get some ideas from it. chelo having already spotted out tiziaN, he's going to be a little unlucky there. Doesn't hit the shot, and tiziaN gets out alive.
I think he actually hit the gun. He's going to reaggress. Go for another opportunity. This time, though, Big have total control of mid. MIBR opting not to contest it. They have, however, put a premium on A, with JOTA just under balcony, with support from Ticket. Very, very defensive towards mid. They're expecting the aggression out of Big, hopefully trying to catch them on the rotation now that bomb makes its way back towards A. So it's looking pretty ominous as to what Big will be doing in this round. A lot of room to work with, though.
I do like the A split, and they've got control of jungle already as well. They're going to take control of window. This is looking very scary indeed for MIBR. If one of those 2 players on the A site do not step up and hold down the fort, you'd have to say this is a round that's going to be relinquished pretty quickly. Even still, Big waiting for that wrap on the short as well for the rotate. They've got all the angles covered. All it takes now is a solid entry to A, and Big will win the round. Extra player does come across, though, and there's now a couple in CT spawn. Smoke's down. They have not cleared out underneath balcony just yet, but tabseN spots the man, gets the info. Finding the frags is faveN, but tabseN can't hold on to it in CT spawn. Bomb plant does go down, and faveN continues to take matters into his own hands. All 3 kills going his way this round on the side of Big. Leaves it in a advantageous situation for the T side. Bit working his way through the A ramp, looking for more, knows where faveN is, but faveN is on for the ace now, and he's hunting for it as well. It's stolen away by Crimbo, but an impressive round from Big.
It was well worked. They had a lot of room to work with. As soon as they got that play in jungle, it was always going to be difficult for MIBR. They had to take the long route on that rotation. They couldn't even go through short. They had to try and go all the way through CT. Yes, there was that push coming through from Bit, but faveN has just destroyed them in this site. Now, they knew JOTA was up for quite some time, but that's quite slick, actually. Not even seeing two of his opponents in the round. Tactical timeout in the back of the win, too. They don't want to overthink or overplay this round.
Yeah, I would have liked to have seen him get the ace there, but wishful thinking.
What could have been.
Yeah, very solid approach coming through from Big so far in these first couple of gun rounds. They're using all the time at their disposal. Not trying to rush anything necessarily. They're kind of keeping MIBR thinking. They're taking a lot of map control very intelligently. And it kind of looks like, you know, in that last round, oh, Big, they're really running that timer down. But when you look at the positions of the players and the way that they've kind of funneled MIBR through to the CT spawn, that's the only angle that they can hold the site from. It's a difficult task for MIBR, and Big, they just really seem to be getting it done super cleanly.
Well, I mean, MIBR have approached it from two different, I guess, schools of thought, too. They've gone super aggressive in mid on one of the rounds on the CT side. They've been punished for it. They went for a little bit more relaxed, and I actually think they backed off a little bit too much there. They gave too much rope to Big, and they allowed them to just get up mid-connector for free, put a lot of pressure on the only two site defenders there on A, and, I mean, what can you do? If you're JOTA, you're smoked off. You're sitting under the Palace balcony. You've got a teammate at Ticket who's just copying everybody's crosshair looking right at him. That crossfire has automatically been dismantled. So that was a doomed hold from MIBR as soon as they gave away control of mid-connector.
Well, as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, or maybe as you can hear, a lot of ticking coming through at the moment. Means there's a bit of chatting going on in the server, and evidently something is amiss. I'm not sure exactly what that is. Not sure just yet, but
there is a rug sale going on, though.
We'll figure it out.
This is where Mac has ruined the ears of a few players, but let's just see what has unfolded already in this match.
I will say, you're lucky Mac's not on this broadcast right now, because he would probably be screaming into the mic.
Yeah. Yep, it's happened before. I mean, these early rounds, they were looking good for MIBR. They were solid. They kept a lot of players up early on in the piece. Well, we didn't call for Mac, but he's here anyway. He was, as soon as he heard that there was a potential for him to yell into a microphone, he appears. Hello?
Who, me? Yeah. I wonder if this little break in tempo does help out MIBR a little bit. It was looking pretty solid for them, but then it kind of felt like Big once again took control of the game off the back of those two gun rounds, and they really had a bit of momentum flowing. Now, though, bit of a downtime there. MIBR, just a bit of a mental reset for them. Ultimately, it's not going to help them economically speaking, so they're not going to have a buy-through in this round, but perhaps it just resets the mental for the next gun round that they'll face once the scoreline hits 3 apiece.
As we said, Big don't want to overplay this round either. So they're going to go something quite simple. Again, back to that mid aggression early on, just clearing things out, but totally backing off. They want to try and keep the interest of MIBR. They've been able to do so.
4 players from MIBR stacked into the A-bomb site, and that's where Big is headed. It's not often that you see a round one with basically no investment, but generally when you do, it's off the back of something like this. So if MIBR can hit their shots and maybe get a bit lucky, maybe there's a chance in a round like this. The Molotov isn't going to be able to dig chelo out just yet, but eventually Big are able to find their opponents. Chelo's picked himself up an M4, and he's managed to get inside of Palace. He's also putting it to good use. Crimbo goes down. It's starting to get a bit more expensive than Big would like.
Absolutely. The way in which he got that M4 too was just looking from third person. Spectacular. Flying up the ladder, no less. But a lot of work for Bit to do here. I've seen USP's do a lot of crazy things, but I think this one's just a little bit beyond.
What about Zeus's?
This one is a little bit beyond one of the highest rated players of 2022.
Funnily enough, we both ordered a salad for dinner today.
Mm-hmm.
And it was
breakfast.
Breakfast, dinner, I don't know. I mean, it is breakfast time. It's 9 a.m., but it's dinner time for us, really.
Mm.
What was it called? Something about Zeus.
Oh, it was. The Mighty Zeus?
The Mighty Zeus, I think. Yeah, maybe. Doesn't look like we're going to get the Mighty Zeus in this round. Or indeed not.
More like the Zeus Caboose.
So, 3-piece will be the scoreline as we head into yet another gun round here for MIBR. Money is not looking so fantastic for them just yet. They're not going to be able to get the AWP through. Going to be back to the rifle setup again. It was the perfect start for MIBR to the map, wasn't it? They got the pistol. They had 2 really solid anti-force, anti-ecos, and looked like the money was really starting to build up. But Big, ever since they've gotten the guns in their hands, have really started to show exactly why they chose this map.
Yeah, it's been very, very measured, their approach. Every round they've approached it slightly different. And, I mean, look at the adjustment here from MIBR. It was back towards that mid-aggression. They've recognised there's nothing there, so they're actually heading back towards the sites. And the read is in. He executes on B, but they're just sending out tiziaN by himself as a bit of a ruse.
They have bamboozled them. tiziaN does lose his life, but obviously it is an exchange for control of the A bomb site. I wonder if that's been a little more costly than Big would have wanted it to be. syrsoN struggling to get control of CT and jungle. Got a couple of players coming through from mid for Big, but obviously it takes a long time for MIBR to rotate across from the B bomb site, and only now are they really being able to start setting themselves up for the retake. Smokes are down in their way, but a util tossed out by syrsoN. He's got a smoke to play behind, and tabseN is already chiming in with 1. It is really coming down to the wire now for MIBR, and they are running out of players, but I think ultimately the big problem is they've run out of time.
They ran out of time. All the hard work too. They had nobody with the kit around to be able to service that bomb.
I got to say though, that probably wasn't the way that Big envisioned that going.
No. I mean, syrsoN was alive for who knows how long at a palace. And again, they had no control of jungle in that round, so everybody had to filter through CT spawn. That's been a real pain point for them. And once again, yes, they got the kills, but they didn't get what matters, and that was the round on the scoreboard. So, Big, they'll take that round win. They'll have to rebuy into it. So, maybe they'll have a flow-on effect in future rounds, but at least for now, they have control of the scoreboard.
Yeah, money's still looking pretty good for Big. 3.2k for tiziaN, 5.5 for syrsoN. There's enough there to work with. Should things go a little awry here in round number 8, and already seems to be headed in that direction. Chelo's gotten himself 1. syrsoN gives up the game as well. This way his position, the peak comes through from JOTA, and this play around connector and around mid just has not gone well for Big at all. Crimbo hides inside of the smoke and eventually executes JOTA. In the meanwhile, syrsoN's found 1. And from the depths of despair, from a 5-on-3, all of a sudden we're back to a 3-on-3, and now a 3-on-2. Very much winnable for Big from here on. Just slowing things down in the mid-round, finding those picks, and MIBR starting to collapse.
They're expecting that aggression in mid. That's all they've done. They've punished the aggression, and MIBR trying to step on the back of some of this utility. Big just sat back, waited it out, and let MIBR fall on their own sword. They've done it again. They've just punished that mid-aggression, and that's given them so much room to work with. 30 seconds left after they will collect that bomb, and they've got that pick of sight. So unless Tuurtle or Exit can produce some magic, I'd say this one's heavily going the way of Big.
20 seconds left in the round, though, and only now are we collecting the bomb. We're going to have to head toward B. This Turtle's in a good spot to win this from. Bench, an angle that you can really play around. He's already found syrsoN, and there goes tiziaN as well. No time left. Crimbo drops as well. It's a 3k for Tuurtle. You talked about magic, and there it is. MIBR, they needed something.
They have absolutely gifted that round with how much time they spent indecisive about which site they would hit.
Yep.
Great work from the back of the bench. Made that round his own, but Big gave themselves no time, and nobody was even close to get that trade. So Well played from Tuurtle in the end. That's a clutch round from MIBR, a round that they did not deserve to win. And I'm sure Big will be kicking themselves about that because their money situation has gone from good to bad.
Can all fall apart in the space of a round or two. syrsoN with the scout. Many a tale has been told before. Can we write yet another one? Good damage out of the clocks. Chelo down to 29 HP. JOTA as well on 76. So, couple of potential targets for syrsoN.
MIBR are going to fall into this trap of re-aggressing on mid. That's what Big look like they're expecting.
Maybe that's what they're hoping for. faveN with the deagle in hand. It's not going to come. And Big will start to work their way up the connector. chelo is there to greet them with some bullets for their heads. But faveN has taken a leaf out of his book as well. And syrsoN is looking for more over toward B.
This could be problematic. Oh, syrsoN gets the tag on the bit, but tabseN has that M4, so he's got some work to do.
Deagle comes out, one-shot headshot. He's going to need that with 15 seconds left to play with. He'll just have to get his way into this A-bomb site, but not going to be given it. Exit finishes it off, and 5-4. MIBR, they have worked their way back into the lead. It's a strange way this game is playing out.
It is a bit of a to and fro affair, isn't it? These teams exchanging rounds, but still, Big have landed on the rougher side of things with their own economy. They've got that AWP in the hands of syrsoN, prioritising utility over everything else with faveN going down to a Galil. So let's just see whether or not this early approach in mid from Big. We've actually, it's been a while since we've seen some outward aggression from MIBR in the early stages, opting to just be present in mid, take those duels, but not necessarily super aggressive.
Slow and steady wins the race has been the mantra for Big. Once again, it looks like that is going to be the strategy of choice. Take a little bit of mid-control, but nothing substantial just yet. And then they just pump the brakes. They slow down. To have Crimbo starting to creep his way through the underpass. A couple of players playing at top mid. Smoke now down into the window. And late into the round, MIBR are able to take that mid-control. It looks like, again, it'll be an A split here. You got players floating toward A ramp.
Looks like MIBR have wised up. Tuurtle's got that bomb now after pushing through B hall, so time is going to be the enemy of Big once again.
30 seconds left. And Big left it a little bit too late. In that meanwhile, though, obviously tiziaN finds the position of Tuurtle. He's able to relay that across, and it allows a bomb to be retrieved. chelo is watching, and he is able to dispatch of it pretty quick smart. tabseN loses his life as well, and faveN, doesn't really matter what he does in this round from here. Get the AK and try to survive perhaps, or do a little bit more economic damage to the CT side. Eats a bink on the way out, luckily through the wall. But MIBR get another round win, and I do just wonder if this playstyle Big is bringing is kind of coming back to bite them a little bit now.
Well, I mean, even in that round, right, like Tuurtle's made some pushes and got a lot of information by pushing through those B halls. In the previous round, it was just simply him sitting back at the bench. So, funnily enough, it's been Tuurtle who really has come out of his shell for MIBR in these last few rounds to just steady the ship for them, bring them back into control of the match, bring them back into the lead. You've got a bit of a, I guess, a hero AK situation for faveN, having saved it from the last round. So the onus is on him to make something happen. But this is MIBR's aggression starting to come out.
Something that we did highlight a little bit during the pre-show. Reminded whether or not we were going to get that against Big. It seems like a clash of two styles, and at the moment, it is favouring MIBR. Again, they are managing to find the timing, the trades as well. Obviously, Big down to just some pistols and whatever they could scrounge together in this round behind the AK, but MIBR, CT side of Mirage. I'm not sure what I expected, but I don't know that it was this.
I mean, they've been able to exploit some of the tendencies of MIBR to get themselves 4 rounds. However, just some solid individual play, and after that, some wisening up to the tricks in the game that Big wants MIBR to play has got them back into a commanding lead of 7-4, and this should be a buy coming in from Big. Now, they've got syrsoN on that AWP, but he's had to forego some armor. So they're already making a lot of concessions here with the Galils, lack of utility. So the question is, without this utility, are Big going to be able to lure MIBR into playing the way that they want them to play?
I'm not sure that they will be able to. I feel like MIBR is a beast that's uncontrollable when they get going. And again, you're kind of getting that a little bit with this push from exit into A ramp, trying to again take some early control. And he's allowed to do that because Big is kind of playing the exact opposite.
So faveN has just been sent to deploy some smokes over towards A, hopefully try and keep 3 players on that side. He's done so, but Big have opted not to act on the back of that. They're going to go for the double pump, hoping that the adjustment from MIBR is heavily towards that B site. All it's done is actually made MIBR dig in a little bit deeper into this A bomb site. Exit has got everything covered on that ramp. That Molotov's going to buy him some time. They've got to hard clear that angle.
Just running that timer down again and again and again. This time, it is going to force all that util out from the CT side, but it doesn't really give you a whole lot of leeway here as Big if they don't hit their entries and they're running into a site with 3 players stacked on it. Close range angle for exit. The flash does connect. JOTA is there for the trade, but he can't get much more than that, and it's on to chelo, who hits a nice flick. Crimbo down. syrsoN also falls, and chelo stepping up with the AWP. Almost denies the bomb plant. Gets it on the second attempt, but it will, of course, leave tabseN alone. He has the benefit of having the bomb working in his favor, but 1-on-3 can't hold on to it, and Bit cleans him up coming out of connector.
Oh, chelo. He was just plucking the strings.
I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming. He said his name and a pause, and I was like, here comes the Gymnesto joke.
Oh, and a tiny fiddle. Tell you what, though. That is unfortunate for tabseN that he had that Galil. Needed to have an AK net situation. He had the post-plant positioning. Could have worked that a little bit more in his favour, but he just needed to get that initial kill. So, Big. They really have run into a stumbling block.
I go back to the drawing board a little bit, don't they? Money still pretty awkward. Tech 9 armor. It's a half buy here from Big, just to get the money back in line, ready for the next couple of rounds. So, best case, you'd say they're probably going to be fighting for a 9-6. Obviously, they have a bit of util to work with in this round, and the Tech 9s, they can definitely overwhelm. So if they can manage to execute well on whatever their game plan is going to be here, there is a possibility they can still make an 8-7 happen, but likely scenario, you're angling for a 9-6 at best. Just do go out onto the A bomb site and exit, playing a long-range angle against the pistols. That's going to work out nicely. Already finding a couple. It just seems a little disjointed for Big. Not seeing too many more frags coming on through here as Big try to make their way into that bomb site. Eventually, a couple of MIBR players do fall on down at the hands of faveN and tabseN.
I hope you're enjoying my PowerPoint presentation so far, Jordan.
I'm actually really enjoying it, Jim. I'm glad you've actually brought this to share with the class. Can you tell me what it's about?
Well, you see here, this is how you attempt to play the post plant once you've streamed into this A-bomb site. And so, They will at least get the bomb plant here. And so we're back to the animated series that I've been producing.
Wow. I mean, that's really impressive how you've been able to switch from one to the other.
Yeah, look, I was just storyboarding what was actually going to happen in that round. And eventually, we did land on the scenario in which MIBR, yes, they considered the bomb plant, but they were able to defuse and retake quite nicely.
Yep. Yeah, a couple of players going down, though, so maybe some inroads being made by Big. This, however, is going to be the big round for Big. This one and the next. If they can bring it back to 9-6, you'd feel like they've done enough at least to have something to play with in the second half. But MIBR, every chance they just run away with this half, grab double digits, and maybe then even further. syrsoN, only the 1-for-1 here for him. Chelo was impressive on the A-bomb site, and we'll see what he can do now on B. Drops off of the balcony, just to give JOTA a bit more of an angle to play with.
Got to back off. They've just been, again, running into a brick wall here. First time they've really tried to enter B so early on in the piece, and they've just been denied entry. Things start to get a little bit sticky for them.
It's back to the same old mantra, though, isn't it, for Big? It's very, very slow in the mid-round, very, very relaxed. They're not trying to force the pace at all.
Thing is, though, MIBR are giving them a lot of room to work with here in mid. They've actually left that wide open. And so the question is, are Big going to be able to exploit that? Are they going to have the information?
Uh-oh. Jim, surely you
did
don't
it
want to
again.
give us the PowerPoint again.
Hang on, let me change slide. There we go.
Enhance. Oh! Oh dear. He's just fallen over right in front of our eyes.
That wasn't meant to happen.
Okay, well, looks like a trade on that entry.
This is actually more of an Art Nor piece.
Exit's gotten behind them somehow, though.
He has. He's blocked the exits, actually.
I don't think that's going too well for Big.
No. Now, faveN's got a path through this CT spawn, but tune in next time to find out what happens.
Ooh, you've got me excited, Jim. I'm really looking forward to seeing what you're going to be able to bring to the table next time. Obviously, look, Jim, you know, he likes to show us what he's been cooking up in the lab, and today he's been cooking up a couple of PowerPoint presentations. Do people even use PowerPoint presentations anymore?
No, actually, and it's a little bit disappointing, to be honest.
I feel like that used to be a big thing when I was in primary school.
It's more of a cloud-based affair.
Yeah.
I think slides are in.
All right, we'll take a look at some of the replays for you guys as to how these games have been playing out so far, or how this game has been playing out so far. I do apologize for the issues, of course. Not that it's my fault, it is Jim's fault.
Yes, sorry guys.
Apologizing on your behalf.
Yeah, look, I love it when you take the rap for things.
I've got to say, I'm actually quietly impressed with what MIBR has been able to bring to the table here on the CT side of Mirage. I'm a little bit surprised. You know, I did not expect this from them. I thought Big, they having been the one to chose the map, and MIBR not having played a whole lot of Mirage lately, you would have been looking at a relatively straightforward game for Big, but it just doesn't really seem to have been the case.
Yeah, look, to be honest, Big really did fall off. MIBR have made some great adjustments on this CT. Great individual play too. Chelo just destroys them in this round. And MIBR really haven't, haven't faltered too much after that. Yeah, they've had a few close rounds, but I mean, they've left, some players like tabseN, and in the later round there, they had Crimbo in a 1vX situation. They're getting it down to like these 1vX situations, and they're able to just win out. So MIBR doing a great job of just halting all momentum that Big have been able to amass in the early round, and they actually haven't done anything too different. They're giving them a little bit more respect, a little bit more space, but they're expecting Big to then be exploding onto these sites. And funnily enough, they're not, taking those early duels like they have been in the earlier parts of the half. They're waiting things out a little bit, keeping themselves alive for the retakes, and the retakes have actually been quite solid.
Well, one of the things that I think has been a bit of a thorn in the side of Big is indeed their sides, their flanks, their backs, because a lot of the time we've been watching MIBR, they've been kind of taking advantage of the fact that Big has been playing so slowly, and for some reason they haven't been able to cover off as many angles as you might traditionally see. And a lot of the time, individuals are being able to find the hole in the defense or the hole in the offense, I guess, in this instance, and be able to get around behind them. Exit a couple of times in a row now. You know, again, kind of hard to see because you're trying to show us some PowerPoint, Shim, but it looks like he's been able to get behind Big and cause a bit of a problem for them.
Yeah, the remote's not quite working, so I normally
That's not a remote. That's why it's not working.
Well,
It's
there's a forward and backwards button on this, so
try it again.
No,
I think it's
it's out of batteries.
Out of batteries. We'll have to get that one sorted out. Look, I have no information for you guys. I don't know if the game is still going on, if it's just on our feed and we're not getting the information through. If the game is still happening, we're probably pretty deep into the end of the first half right now. So let's have a look and see. Okay, looks like there might have been a pause or whatever the case. 10-4 is the scoreline, and we will get into the final round of the half. And hopefully everything goes to plan. Jim, I know you're trying to sort of put on display your turn-based shooter that you've been developing, but
yes,
can you just leave it until after the game?
Okay.
Thanks.
We had to get Mac in to actually fix things, so I don't know if they're entirely fixed, if Mac was responsible for that element of the show. But, yeah, unfortunately, Mac hasn't done a good job. This is an animated series now.
Yeah, I don't think he's done a very good job. To be fair, though, I wouldn't really have expected much from Mac. You know, he's a bit unreliable at the best of times.
That's why we relegated him to host.
Yeah. All right. Well, unfortunately, guys, as you can see, there's not a whole lot of watching that we can do. So you're back on us, and we'll keep you updated as to how things are continuing to play out in the server. Again, I don't know if the game is currently underway or if that's the server side or if that's just the feed side, whatever the case. We'll keep you updated with the information as it does come. We are, fairly close to getting through to halftime, so hopefully that's going to give the guys a little bit of time to sort of figure out what's going on. But obviously a less than ideal half here for Big, whichever way you paint it. I mean, they're going to have a lot of work to do going into the second half, whether they win this last round or not.
Yeah, they worked up a real head of steam at the start of the half, but really petered off as MIBR started to work out that all they needed to do once Big committed to these sites was push the flank, give them a little bit of space and hopefully enough rope to hang themselves on. And it's exactly what happened with Big in a lot of these later rounds. So they haven't really been able to find any breaks in the play for MIBR. And I think it's just patient CT play from MIBR that's being rewarded.
Few too many breaks in the play as far as I'm concerned at the moment, Jim. And hopefully there's some patience. Patience not just from MIBR, but from everyone at home as well. I'm told the scoreline is 10-5 at the end of the half, so there was a little bit of an end there that worked out nicely for Big, so we did miss the last round of the half. Apologies for that one. We'll take a short break, and when we do come back for the second half, hopefully everything is good and ready to go. 10-5 the scoreline right now between MIBR and Big.
Forgetting who I was, or have to look back that far. And I don't want to forget who, get who. And are you just fucking around in my mind one last time? I'm gonna be real honest this time. I'm okay with it, I am more than
what can the coach bring into the game, and is the experience for me playing in a high level an edge or an advantage? I would say definitely, because I know exactly what the player is thinking, but this also I must admit that there are coming some downfalls with it. Maybe another coach would bring more different structure, more like he has a little bit, you know, like he's standing 2 steps behind the game more, that he has like a, sometimes I would not say like an easier view on the game, not that complicated. And that also helps sometimes the team. But for me, if I would not play it in the highest level, and I still playing at the moment some facets to get to know the game again better, to feel the game better, to make the players better, like to feel what they maybe cannot explain to you. Maybe they are afraid of something that happened in their experience, but they cannot tell you, yeah, this is my problem, and you need to see it through their inner eye, and for that you need to definitely be in the game, and that means for me also to play more again, to get at least.
All right, well, back into the second half, and hopefully some wise words for Big at halftime from Godby, because they kind of need a little bit of help at the moment. Things didn't go too well in that first half. At least, Jim, they are moving on to the CT side, and with that, it should be bringing some welcome change. But MIBR, they've been looking pretty good so far on Mirage, and we'll see if that's going to continue. Oh, a big headshot from chelo is going to try to get them into the A bomb site. Big, of course, do still have some defenders. syrsoN behind the firebox. tabseN, a couple of quick taps. Indeed, call him tabseN as he finds the heads. And that is the pistol round for Big, a much-needed victory.
That's a much-needed round for them, given how they petered off at the end of the first half. They did manage to bring it to 10-5, and I thought maybe that would be the pass mark for a T-side on Mirage, and they managed to hit that. And now the fact that they've collected the pistol, there is nothing here for MIBR because no bomb plant coming through to give them any extra. Going to opt to buy in the next. So, not trying to force things this round, but Big are taking no chances whatsoever. 4 rifles, MP9. Just a grouped approach now from MIBR. They don't really have too much to work with here, just hoping that the pistols can catch any unsuspecting members of Big. Pretty standard split here.
Yeah, syrsoN. 4 in hand. It should be a pretty easy one for him, but a couple of quick taps do come through from the MIBR lads, and he will fall. MIBR decide to about face, turn around and try to get out of there, but faveN is going to make sure that JOTA is unable to do so.
Bit of a gangster lean there as well on tabseN.
I feel like there's like a Dutch angle going on or something like that. It's like, it's art. I don't know. I went to film school, Jim. Not a big deal to me, but I did learn about this. It's artistic, all right?
It's an artistic film choice.
It is. I'm pretty sure it was called a Dutch angle. Dutch tilt, something like that.
Well, you've outplayed yourself there, Jod. But decent round for Big, though. He took that 1 loss in the round, so the investment only has to come through for one of them. MIBR, though, they've got that full ensemble. Coach opting to take the Galil. However, it's just a fast B split on the cards. If they can have success up short, I'm sure the B contingency through Halls will also join them. However, it's been halted. Look at this rotation from Big, though. They've left B completely open. Only that one player on short was protecting them.
Yeah, faveN going to have to do a little bit of work here. He has managed to get that smoke down, which is going to give him an avenue back into the B bomb site, but the rest of MIBR still filtering their way across. faveN looking for it. tabseN, is he turbo tilted? Well, we'll have to wait and see and find out how this round plays out. tabseN, I think he's definitely going to be tilted after that because he's been banged out by Tuurtle. syrsoN suffers the same fate. And it's faveN and tiziaN that have to try to steady the ship, right the ship maybe even at this point, Jim. Doesn't look like it's going to be an easy task here for tiziaN in the 1-on-3.
No, he's just opting to hold that angle. There's nobody going to be invited into his crosshair by the looks of things from MIBR. They will get their bomb plan in, so JOTA posted up on the angle, made it impossible for Big. And so, well, their money's not too far up the tree for them to be able to buy into this next round. So they're going to have to take a quick pause for what they're going to do in this round, at least to discuss. It's actually, sorry, MIBR taking a tactical timeout. So again, they don't want to overplay this. They want to make sure that they're grouped up. They want to make sure that they're not taking any losses in this round. We'll give Big time to work out if they're going to do anything funky here. I don't know, I kind of expect these, I guess, offbeat approaches from Big. Something special in these sorts of rounds.
Well, well, I guess we'll see. They're going to get the force buy through.
The Hero M4. Here we
Hero
go.
M4 for faveN. tiziaN's got a full belt to util. There's some purchasing going on behind that as well. Deagles, MP9s. There's a little bit there to play with for Big.
Surely they don't play this standard, though. I'm expecting tabseN to do it sideways. But here we go. The pain train out mid, underpass. And that boost will come through as well with that M4. So they might be able to catch MIBR out. As I said, a little bit offbeat, but they're not able to hold it for too long.
Quick rotation back into the A bomb site here for Big, expecting something to head in that direction, but they'll be entirely wrong and they'll have to go scurrying back over toward B. Chelo's doing his best. It's a struggle to move anywhere at this point. Not a bad spot to play from, though, for Crimbo. If he does manage to get up behind this smoke, he'll have a little bit of backup maybe from tabseN there as well. Not sure if tabseN can stand straight or if he's just got the peak key stuck down. So it's a new thing in CS. You should check it out. HLTV confirmed.
It's that Rainbow Six mechanic.
Q&E to lean. Hopefully that doesn't ruin anyone's spines.
Now, Crimbo's got probably the best position you can play in with the MP9 right now. He's going to get that first. Can't get the second, though. It's a bit of a one and done, and now B is under attack. So a lot of work to do here. They have pretty much everyone now starting to arrive to defend. faveN's going to make that M4 work, but tabseN can't quite find the opportunity to capitalize on that angle. And so they're going to try and get this bomb plant down because they've only got 14 seconds left.
Does indeed go down. faveN caught on the cross. And it is just tiziaN now with a deagle to his name. He's not interested. Not much he can do there.
Well, by all means, I think MIBR are actually quite justified in picking Mirage right now. They are looking the better unit on both CT and now T.
Yeah, opens up a bit of a can of worms, doesn't it? Because this is Big's map choice. We're moving on to Nuke next, and that's MIBR's choice, and that's been a really solid map for MIBR lately.
And they had the option, right? Like they either ban out Dust 2 and leave themselves open to Mirage, a map that they don't really play. They've got nothing on it. No data, whereas everything else they've been playing so much. So I don't know. They let this one through. And I think it's actually been a bit of a trap here for Big. They've been lured into this thinking, surely it should be a little bit easier against a team that doesn't really play it, but just pistols here for Big to try and make something work. They've got the boost through into short quickly, but MIBR have actually done a great job of navigating these rounds. They haven't taken too many losses with these pistols. They haven't ever really been overwhelmed either.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I'm definitely starting to lose a bit of faith, right? I think even in that first half, I was still of the opinion that Big could bring this back in the second, but now it's starting to get a little bit too tight, a little bit too close for comfort. MIBR once again up against the pistols. Their money is going to balloon out off of a round such as this, and they'll be up 13-7, and it doesn't look like Big's really being able to put too much together on this CT side, short of maybe tiziaN going bananas with that deagle right now. But Already, MIBR working their way into the bomb site. Would have been an ill-fated bomb plant, but not a problem. And there indeed is that 13th up for MIBR, and a bunch of cash flowing into their pockets as well.
They've been very, very clinical on these anti-eco rounds. Even the anti-force rounds have actually looked quite comfortable in. So I'm actually starting to really put MIBR in the box seat for this series, to be honest. They have really surprised big on this map so far. That being said, though, we're finally starting to see a decent buy again out of big. So they've got to put their nose to the grindstone here. All these rounds, and that's a good start from tabseN. Just punishing bit for trying to take position through the smoke. tiziaN's also taking a lot of info. Got control of A ramp, so how they go from here? Do they opt to continue to push, or are they just happy to hold and let MIBR make the next move? Have left mid open though, so in the event that A does fall, I would suspect 2 players from big to just hold control of that A ramp and wait for the rotation and retake.
This is going to have to be a big round for big, for lack of a better word.
A large round.
They've got the start that they need. A gross round, if we're going to throw a bit of German in the mix. As I said, they've got the start that they need, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be able to convert this one, and it doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be able to win the round cleanly, particularly with this push from exit again. Can he get behind him? Works his way back out of Palace and is able to regroup with his side.
Back for the percentage play, back towards B for MIBR. Not a lot of utility here at B to stop things either.
Well, tabseN and Kumbo going to try and do it as a duo. They'll be able to have enough to at least clean up a couple of those entry fraggers. But chelo, he's been very dangerous on this map. Will be shut down by faveN. And it is now onto the lone soldier of exit, who doesn't have time to win the round regardless. Big, they get at least one more.
Well, Big only have 2 surviving in that round, so it was an expensive win for them. Fortunately, they keep that AWP in play with syrsoN. However, some concessions are going to have to be made here with what they can purchase, and I'm sure MIBR are very cognizant of that fact. However, they need to be careful too, because their own money stocks are starting to be whittled down. Just a bunch of utility being left for Big to play with in this A bomb site. But a faster approach now from MIBR. They've actually sent Tuurtle on a bit of a mission down mid. Maybe even get that boost in window running if chelo cares to join him later.
Good bit of mid control already established for MIBR, and it doesn't take them long. It doesn't take them too much util to get. Response from Big is just one grenade that goes sailing through the connector and does not a whole lot. So MIBR will start to put together their attack on the A site. Looks to be an A split, just a 1-4 with exit up in the Palace. The real brunt of the attack is going to come in through connector, and tabseN, he has spotted that one out, but obviously a bit more difficult to aim when he's tilted to the side like that, and so he can't get it done this time. Gets the info for his side, but faveN and tiziaN now have a job to do. It is a nice crossfire that they have established, and a great angle to play from for tiziaN, but faveN has dropped, and it's down to just him. Karimbo comes striding through on the CT spawn side of it, but a little bit too little too late. Bomb plant goes down. MIBR, they look for their 14th.
Yep, and this is danger for Big, because they're going to be on a string of half buys, whatever they can put on their backs in these next few rounds. So this is pretty much the beginning of the end for Big, unless they can pull out some heroics that will allow them to, I guess, break their opponent's economy. I mean, we saw it in our earlier match today. Nip won one of these sort of swing rounds that put their own economy back on, the front foot. If they're able to take the round and pick up a lot of free weapons. They can give themselves, I guess, a rebirth. But I don't know. I'm just not seeing that level of production coming out of Big, to be fair. They are being dealt with quite well by MIBR. Very, very slow, very clinical approach from them. It's looking good. MIBR setting themselves up nicely for this series.
It's not going to be a good feeling at all for Big right now. Pistols only, facing down what will be the 15th round for MIBR. On their own map choice as well. Big wondering what on earth has happened. We had them backed as the favorite for this matchup. We were talking about it on the desk beforehand, but with aim like that, I don't know that there is a world where MIBR is going to drop it from here. They're just working their way through relatively comfortably. chelo is not going to check behind him, so it'll be a knife in the back. The first one that we've been able to catch on the V stream at this event so far. And hopefully that can raise the spirits of Big, because God knows they need it.
Super aggressive too from chelo. He woke up today and chose violins.
Violins.
Yeah.
More of a viola fan, personally.
Very good, very good. Ever delved into the oboe?
No.
Double bass?
I was not particularly musically inclined.
Well, MIBR on the edge of taking this first map in the series. What have Big got up their sleeve? There is some utility being exchanged in mid, but no push for progression. tabseN does actually manage to find chelo through the smoke. He's done it a few times now, so this might be a last gasp for Big. Certainly one that they need.
JOTA makes it a little interesting finding that double kill, and Exit is going to be able to retrieve the bomb pretty easily, given the smoke is still blooming. But Big have a pretty good read of exactly where he is, and that grenade is going to land right at his feet. Perfectly timed from tiziaN. And really only a matter of time before Exit does live up to his name in this round at least. Spotted out by tiziaN and finished off as well. So 15-9. Big survive another round.
There's still some life in them. Unfortunately though, not too much more life in the economy of MIBR. So they're taking a tactical timeout. This could be a window of opportunity for Big to get back a few rounds if they do take this. Stabilize their own economy, put themselves on the front foot. And aside from Bit, who is yet to buy, they are going to have pretty much their money stocks run. And let's just see whether or not they are able to find this round. I mean, if you're Big right now, you've got to be a little bit disappointed. Your map pick hasn't gone to your plan whatsoever. I don't think they gave themselves enough rope on that T side. They really did run out of steam, unfortunately. Haven't had a lot of success here on CT. They've just struggled with the economy a little. But the faster approach now, MIBR really have cranked it up to 11.
And that's not worked out too well at all. Big, they have seen that trick once or twice, and they're not going to fall for it. Look, Big is, I think, starting to find their feet a little bit on this CT side. But you have to say, has it come a little bit too little too late? I think it has. It's only going to take one little mistake or one stroke of fortune for MIBR, or, you know, just one good round from MIBR, and then the map's done. But I think if Big had maybe another 3 lives or 2 or 3 lives to play with, if the score was 13-9 or even 14-9, I could potentially still see them making this comeback happen. But at 15-9, odds definitely stacked against them.
Yeah, particularly too, given like the money situation within MIBR right now. They don't have the funds to buy into the next. So there's another round there on offer for Big. But I mean, that's also another danger round. How many times have you seen this team starting to forge a comeback when their opponents are on 15? It's just that one small slip up on a half buy round, and that's it. That's the first map in the series gone. So just one of the longest rounds possible for MIBR. These two players making that save call fairly early on. Big are going to try and collapse on them. They don't want them to take anything into the next. They know that if they save here, there's a real chance they could be buying into the next.
The flash!
Overtime! They are killed off.
That's costly.
Tuurtle survives.
Exit does not.
And that's not a lot of money left in his pockets.
Yeah, I don't think they can buy now. It's going to have to be the Hero AK. Maybe they put together a few pistols behind it, but... Look, if there's one guy that you want to have that Hero AK at the moment, it probably is Tuurtle. He has been the most impressive rifler on MIBR in this map so far. Most impressive player? I don't know. Maybe you can make the argument for Chelo. Talking has been pretty good.
Yeah, some of the shots hit on the A, quite impressive. But I mean, Tuurtle's also stood up for them too. Made a lot of informational plays on that CT side. That 3v2, who's at the back of B, was also quite instrumental for them. It really was the halt for Big too. That round really did put them on the back foot, and they haven't really recovered from it until now. Starting to string some rounds together on the CT side. So MIBR just trying to put Tuurtle in the best position possible with this AK. They're going to send him through with a soldier in mid. It is essentially the fodder.
Money is still a little bit poor for Big. So if Tuurtle can somehow put to work that AK, he can still do a bit of something in this round, you know? A win might be off the cards, but it is looking for some angles. Tuurtle just waiting for a mistake to come through from Big. He's not really going to get it in the position that he's at the moment. But you'd like to see MIBR do a bit of damage in this round, I think.
Just going to walk on in. syrsoN just going to take name after name. I mean, Tuurtle, they know where he is, but he's got no time to work with, so surprised they actually aren't running at him after time.
Counter-terrorists win.
This is prolonging things here for MIBR. Money's sort of on that, that decision tree. Do we buy into this exit? He unfortunately will have to just buy what he can. Using their tactical timeout too. Remember, he was the player that was killed after time, so his money was right down the bottom of things. So Big starting to get a head of momentum, head of steam.
Yeah, do you think this is getting a bit frustrating now for MIBR?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's a few rounds in a row put together by Big. It's not in danger territory just yet for the T side, but give Big another couple of rounds and I might start to believe. Money, unfortunately, not very good for exit by virtue of being killed after time in not the last round, but the one prior. Means he does have to just go down to the Deagle in this, but definitely still enough in the back pocket for MIBR to put to work.
Oh, tabseN, how is he allowed to do that? So Bit goes down almost instantaneously. They were expecting the aggression out of Big, but tabseN managed to slip around the hold that they had. Now they're going for some A-ramp control too. So Big are actually playing a very proactive CT side at the moment.
It's really great to see all the players putting the new lean feature to use. Really impressed with their ability to pick it up so quickly.
They're not abusing it though, which is good. Bit of QE, QE.
Yeah, you used to see that a lot in something like PUBG. Everyone used to wiggle.
Yeah. Wiggle, wiggle.
Well,
Grimbo
little
takes
exchange
contact.
of damage there, isn't it? But the grenade, perhaps a little more impressive, lands right on top of chelo and does a sizable chunk. syrsoN waiting patiently on the line. Bit of util getting tossed out now by MIBR, and enough to actually flash him off. But Tuurtle unable to find anything on the entry. syrsoN's able to set himself up, and it's like shooting fish in a barrel. syrsoN makes it look easy. 3 kills, and that's the end of the round. MIBR hoping that chelo will be able to hold on to the AWP.
Now Big are actually going to go for this. Going to go try and push him, take that out of his hands. And faveN just playing with fire. He's surrounded by all angles. chelo does manage to get the no-scope. And will he hold on to it? The answer is no. He dies after time too. So, okay. This is quite a pickle now. I don't know, tabseN. Is he continuing to...
He's rotating further and further. He's getting more and more tilted the closer this game gets to being a big win. I don't really understand that. You think he'd be getting untilted.
He's increased his rotational axis by a few degrees. Change of seasons, perhaps?
I don't know. I think there's some interstellar angle stuff going on. And eventually he locks into place at the right angle with the right trajectory. tabseN, only a 1-for-1. This is looking like a faster round from MIBR. It's they've only got the pistols and they have not checked tiziaN, hiding in Ninja.
Just going to start chewing through them with that AK too. Oh, he had an idea that there's a player in sandwich as well, so JOTA, he's effectively put inside the cage, the glass cage of emotion. Sure, MIBR are a little bit frustrated right now because they've been on match point for quite a few rounds.
Well, I did say, give me 15-13 and I'll start to believe for Big. We're at that point. Do I believe yet? Yeah. Yeah, I actually kind of do. Exit is making me question my belief, though. I will say. P250, I mean, 60 HP for tiziaN. This could go awfully if Grimbo doesn't get there in time to save him. We get there in the end.
I was waiting for him to just turn around and swiftly 2B the player that was flanking him, and I thought, okay, this could be the way in which he goes down. It's been that kind of match so far. And Big using their final tactical timeout to try and steady that ship. They want OT. Mirage, OT, OCE.
7 overtimes. Had to cast that one time on Mirage.
I was going to say, stop me if you've heard this one before, Jordan.
Never again, please. Last tactical timeout is now being used by Big. Map point again for MIBR. And that would have been a welcome sight maybe 5 rounds ago, but now it sort of feels like it's kind of mocking them a little bit.
I mean, this is Big's map pick, so disappointing for them to take the L against a team that actually has no recorded stats on it for quite some time. But faveN opens up.
How many times have we seen at the start of the round Big just get the cleanest of openers?
On bit too.
It's, you know, 3 or 4 rounds in a row at least, and faveN's even doubled down this time. If this goes to OT, I think Big wins it.
Yeah, well, I mean, based on the fact too that CT side is their better side. Pretty much a 64.42% win rate on that CT side in terms of their round percentages. So I don't know, this is shaping up to be a photo finish, that's for sure. But I mean, Exit could provide them with a strategy that would see them go through to the next map. One might even call it an exit strategy, but syrsoN does remove his accomplice, and he is binked down to 3 HP. He gets in front of the grenade, so he's keeping it expensive for Big, but I don't know.
Doesn't matter at this point.
Doesn't matter. They're buying in.
Yep, final round of regulation time, and will it once again be just bitter disappointment for that team that's making the comeback, or can Big this time, to change things up from what Mouse was unable to do on Inferno against Vitality, actually push us through to the OT?
I'm looking at the money situation for MIBR right now. Galil's plus Util at best. There we go. 3 players there, all on the Galil. And that is... I know it doesn't bode well for finishing it here. So I would suspect OT on the cards. Unless MIBR can buck a trend.
Well, this is where all of that pressure starts to come crashing onto the shoulders of Big. You've put all the effort, all the work in to get it to this point, and it could come crumbling down in the next 2 minutes. What if they don't find the clean opener this time? They haven't really been tested in a lot of these rounds. A lot of them have felt like they've been really easy for Big because they've found a couple of quick kills at the start of the round, but MIBR, they haven't given up that opening frag this time. Not yet, anyway.
Okay. Bit of a later approach in mid from MIBR. Didn't want to take some losses early on as they had been in previous rounds, but they do get that player putting pressure now on mid connector. Big have to readjust. That smoke is just going to block vision. Sure, they're going to try and get some eyes over it. Crimbo has a line, but...
JOTA, he could be the difference maker right now for MIBR, hiding inside of that smoke. faveN is not watching him. Crimbo is not watching him. They're lined up the totem pole, but they turn in time and they survive. And already that's the third now frag for Big. It is going to be overtime now. Surely MIBR, 2 players against 5. It's 4 now, but MIBR, this would be a massive task for Exit and Bit to get over the line.
And look how deep Big are playing right now. They have the player advantage. They don't want to give anything away. They're almost inviting MIBR into the A-bomb site and playing for the retake.
Got a lot of util to do it with. Get a molly into Firebox. That's going to start to put pressure onto Exit. They can probably chuck one under Balcony as well, or into Sandwich. There's a lot of avenues of attack here for Big, and there should be no world where they drop this round. syrsoN, he's got one. Bit is able to trade it on back, but no coach hero this time. And that's 15-15, going to be secured by Big. What a magical comeback that was to bring it into the overtime. Big are still alive and kicking. They're still fighting in this map, but it's not done yet. They haven't gotten it over the line, and that's what they're going to be looking for. We're going to take a short break. We'll jump into OT when we get back.
Yeah, I have a lot of faith in the team, and of course it was very hard to leave the Valorant team because I have a really good connection with them as well. Like, they're also my friends, and I also loved the game. It was nothing about Valorant that I left. It was just like I felt like the team needed me, and I also had a lot of fun doing it. And I felt also that the Valorant team and the roster was like, after like almost 1.5 years, 2 years, they were, you know, like they understood how I was thinking. And I, you know, like need the bird fly on their own now. And I know it's hard for them, but I think they will be okay. So now I'm going to new adventures with this team, and I definitely believe 100% in the team. And I also love the atmosphere in the team, and that everyone is now very motivated. So yeah, that was also definitely a part of the decision that I believe very much in the team, yeah.
It's very exciting for us. We are ready. We were in Lisbon, and we got a message from the ESL like asking if we got some visas to go to the tournaments, and we have it, and we said let's go. It's a Tier 1 tournament. It's one of the biggest tournaments of the year, so we are very happy to be here, and we are prepared because we are practicing in Europe. So I think we are ready.
Before Lisbon, we are staying in Germany, practicing our boot camp. So we are so focused to these tournaments. We are preparing for everything here.
For me personally, it was always very clear from the beginning that him and me will be at some point like coach and player, obviously. Like, we have really good connection, and at some point, you know, you understand that something is missing which you maybe don't get from someone else. And you know, he has like personality, obviously, understanding of the game, like making someone better, just making someone feel better just to have him around. And that was something which we had missing for me personally. I don't really had the connection with my coach before. And this was important to have the same relationship, the same view of the game, the same passion, yeah, exactly. And it was something very important. He felt it a way that it's time maybe to come back as well. He was missing the game. He was always watching the game, talking to me about the game, and at some point, and yeah, and then in that sense, we directly felt like, hey, it's time. You need to come back.
I definitely believe 100% in the team, and I also love the atmosphere in the team, and that everyone is now very motivated. Definitely, I needed to do some research and watching a lot of games again to feel a little bit how the meta is at the moment going and what everyone else is thinking. I was always good in like trying to understand what other teams are thinking. So I need a little bit more time maybe to figure this out, but definitely my point of view of the game has changed with Valorant for sure. For me, it feels like it's giving me a little bit of an edge, but yeah, I guess we need to see it a little bit in time.
Well, thank you for being patient, ladies and gentlemen. We've been trying to work through the issues, as I'm sure you're all aware. A little bit of an extended break there heading into the overtime. But the situation, Big makes a massive comeback in that second half. And now they are going to try and put MIBR to the sword. It is MIBR's opportunity to steal a map off of Big, but you'd have to say they've really squandered that chance, and now Big might come rampaging back.
I think that opportunity's passed the by, unfortunately, because Big now have got a run of rounds here on the CT side, and the push up mid from faveN is going to catch that boost. However, the trade from Bit is there. tabseN, however, just swings in with the haymaker, and he finds the remaining two. So now it's just Tuurtle and Exit to try and steer the ship back to safety. And tabseN gets punished for over-aggressing. So there's a lot of ground now for Big to cover with only 3 players. This is, I guess, now where players will make that mathematical push into B, the calculated push. Take the percentage play, but Crimbo's all over that. Cheeky line. Nowhere to hide, unfortunately, for Exit.
Not a whole lot for Exit to do there. 16-15, one more round in a row for Big. How many is that? It's 8 in a row now. If we take into account the 7 that they needed to get this to overtime. I had lost faith. I had absolutely lost faith in Big being able to win this map. MIBR, when they were at 13, 14 rounds, I was thinking, no chance for Big. And then they got it to 15, and that further reinforced that fact for me.
Would you say you were starting to think little of them?
Maybe. But
just small point to me.
They say in Texas everything is bigger. And
Maybe they're onto something.
Big, they're doing a pretty good job of living up to that hype at the moment. Nice comeback, Crimbo. Oh, has he got the spider sense tingling? I think so. He's found the opener for this round. Yet again, another one that goes the way of Big to start the round off. faveN there to help him out. Gets the insend out as well. Nicely timed in Crimbo. Raw adjustment as Exit falls into the van position. It's still going to be a 3-on-3.
Yep, that bomb is hard committed now. It's out. And so MIBR backs to the wall. They're going to try and fight their way in, brawl it in.
Big are scurrying their way across on this rotate as well. But they'll have to slow things down a little bit. MIBR not making any sudden movements. tiziaN starting to creep in behind. He's got to be wondering, is someone watching the back of apps?
Oh,
syrsoN might not even have too much to do. tiziaN and faveN combining for a killer piece, and now it's again just down to Bit, the super sub, the coach coming through for MIBR. A difficult position to dig them out of, especially considering, as you mentioned, the bomb is committed, which means he has to be committed. And 17-15, I think the only team committed at the moment is Big. They're committed to a victory.
Yeah, they have been on quite a run of rounds too. So this only continues to heap on the pain for MIBR. Being ground to a halt on their T side, and that's not what they wanted, given that they've been sitting on match point for so long in regulation and then conceded OT, only now to lose these 2 rounds. They don't want to go 3-0 here.
Gotta say, it kind of feels like Big is on a bit of a rampage at the moment. I think they are going to go 3-0. syrsoN, he didn't have to do too much in that clutch last round, but starts off fantastically in the final round of the first half of OT. faveN with that secondary AWP as well, able to chime in. That double AWP setup worked out nicely for Big in that big string of rounds they got in regulation time on the CT side, and it's proven to be successful again here in OT.
Something you can immediately go into in OT scenarios as well, with all that cash money. The tiziaN's just there, poised, ready to be the flank, and they've conceded A, so they're happy to play retake here. We've seen them do this a few times, Big. They've got a lot of utility stacked in their belts, so this is going to be difficult for MIBR. Again, going to have to brawl their way out. They don't want to concede that 3-0 scoreline in this first phase of OT. Just a few momentary checks. They've got a bit of time up their sleeve, MIBR.
They do, but they don't have numbers.
Oh, is he going to push all the way? No, surely not.
Ooh, maybe. tiziaN has no idea. This is a knife in the back, surely. Oh, no, he's not going to go for it. He's not going to risk it this time around. Knows how important this round could be. Oh, and syrsoN goes down as well. Exit. Sharp shots. Now faveN might have a bit of pressure on his shoulders. Flash over the top to allow Crimbo to progress through the smoke. Get the molly down, but not fast enough to deny the plant, but enough to soften the target for the grenade to finish off, and now it's Exit in a 1-on-2. He'll chuck a flash up out of CT, maybe giving away his position, and Incendiary is the answer from Big. And they certainly seem to know where he is at the moment. Jump across from Crimbo, gets the info, and faveN shuts the door in his face. 3 rounds in the first half of OT for Big, and their rampage continues.
They certainly have continued the hurt being piled on. MIBR gave themselves every possible chance, though, in that round. They brought that back from what I thought was pretty much an impossible situation. Those double AWPs, they were doing all the damage early on. But it was this push here from JOTA that gave them that glimmer of hope. And once they had control of Ticket, there's actually some great utility usage from Big that was, I guess, their ticket back into the round. So, a lot of pressure now here. MIBR, they're on that CT side, thankfully. But Big only have to get that single round now.
Well, it was a little bit of struggle for Big to get rounds on the T side. And already it's looking like that might be the case once again as we head into the second half of OT. Already having lost tabseN. Does the string of rounds end here?
A lot of utility used to get that 1 kill, though.
It's only the first map as well, Jim. This could be a monster series.
Don't mind that from Big. Those open skyboxes, sending a lot of smokes the way of A. Some work to do for tiziaN.
Yeah, they're looking to find those entries. They've got the wall of smokes out. Molly's in there as well, but Exit is still finding angles on the site. faveN up on top of the box, had no idea what to expect there, but tiziaN, he's hiding. The smoke is fading. It fades favorably. Chelo is down. And the rest of the lads have exited the A bomb side. He's got no idea, though, that Bit is coming across from short. I think at least they're going to be able to get the bomb plant down here. syrsoN posted on an angle with an AWP. That's going to be a scary prospect. And Crimbo, what can he do? 28 and 20 for syrsoN. He's been a bit of an MVP for being in this event so far, but I like this from Crimbo. He'll be hearing those footsteps in connector, waiting patiently. Gets one down, but now we'll have to find another two. His position known. And Tuurtle makes no mistake. MIBR survive another round.
Oh, that was a round that just had so many twists and turns in it. I thought for sure MIBR had done enough, but Big, they managed to get themselves into that post-plant position. And, well, Crimbo, that was the pivotal position there at stairs for Big. They needed to keep him alive a little bit longer. He managed to get up there silently. They had no idea he was up there. syrsoN has struggled a little bit with those picks out of Palace with the AWP. We've seen him miss a few shots in previous scenarios, so didn't have the confidence needed out of him to be able to just put the seal on that round and the seal on the map for Big, but they get another run at it here.
JOTA going to try to get up to his usual tricks in mid. He's liked this push a couple of times in regulation. Time, they're waiting for him.
1 HP.
1 HP. Wonder and the nade goes sailing past tabseN, but it lands on top of syrsoN, the target that MIBR was looking for. And this overtime is starting to deliver. JOTA with the AWP, a second frag. 16 very quickly. Looks like it's going to turn to 17 for MIBR, and then we're one round away from OT number 2. You could split the difference.
I think it just goes to show how much these two teams have struggled a little on their T side. Strong CT sides, but maybe a reflection of the game state.
Yep.
Oh, that's not going to help. tabseN on his lonesome. Done some damage to chelo. Chelo's just going to chew up so much time. Draw him into that firefight that's not favourable. And so, MIBR, they're looking to take it into double OT.
It's definitely felt like a winnable map for Big. That first round of the second half of OT. syrsoN with the AWP. Didn't land a shot. Wonder if that's going through their head. The map could already be over. MIBR. How many chances they had at match point that they let go by the wayside, that they squandered. Big's going to change it up. They're going to go fast in this round. They're straight in towards the B site, right in front of that insend. They get out already, and MIBR, do they have the chance to stop it? Crimbo already just the one opener.
Oh, so much damage though. Taking numbers already. Look at syrsoN and Crimbo, they're quite low.
Bit. There's still a player on the bomb side. He gets mollied out, I think, by his own team. I'm not sure where that one came from. Bomb plant is going down. tabseN on a great angle to make a difference. He could line them up if he could just see them. And the barrel of the AWP is spotted out. syrsoN dies. Crimbo inside of the smoke loses his life as JOTA just spamming through it. He walks into it. tabseN lines up 2.
No.
Can't find any more. OT number 2 is where we will head. And MIBR this time have the luxury of starting on the CT side.
Oh, dear me. Dear me, dear me. That was a round that had way too many twists and turns. The smoke play was pivotal, but how much damage did Big take trying to get into that bomb site? They took so much. I do rate the change of pace, but MIBR, they had full bounce of util to be able to deal with that. It wasn't a round where they were having to make concessions, so big risk to be taken. And now, I think it's proven thus far that both teams have sort of run out of ideas on this T side. That's a good start. They're going to actually act on the back of that. Need to check faveN though. Tuurtle's gone unchecked.
And that's a problem for Big. Quick trade from faveN. Oh, Big would be looking at this and wondering why on earth could we not have gotten this last round. This is the perfect setup. 4-on-3 for the post plant. To get that bomb down early, MIBR miles away from the site and saving.
All right. Finally, somebody gets a T round.
I mean, is that the straw that breaks the camel's back? You know, we've seen such a string of CT rounds. 14 or 15 CT rounds in a row to be broken right here by Big. Maybe that's the one most important round they're going to pick up for this entire map.
Could be the wind of change that this match was looking for.
You know what they say, Jim? Go big or go home. I wonder if at the moment we're going big.
Yeah. Fortunately, it's not an elimination match for them.
Well, that's true.
But that mentality rings true.
This is a game that gets them into the playoffs, though. It ensures you, at bare minimum, a quarterfinal slot.
That's exactly what these teams are playing for. And I'm sure Big want to be back on that stage. Slower approach now, though, from Big. So, change of pace was a one-round-only affair. At least found some success. It was all on the back of that pick in B halls. syrsoN, as soon as they realized that they had sent that AWPer into B halls, they knew it was very unlikely that a one player left in the site is going to have all that utility to support and withhold a full rush. So I like that. Decisive action from Big.
Chelo playing JOTA's position. Bit of a change up there from MIBR. And this reminds me of the first half. Very slow play on the T side, running down that timer. This has been the go-to approach for Big. I almost said tried and true, but I don't know if it is tried and true. I don't know if it necessarily worked out the way they wanted it to. Going to give it another crack this time, but, you know, entering the site with 45 seconds, that's a little bit faster than what they were doing in regulation. Seems the result might end up still being the same. JOTA has already found Grimbo. tiziaN almost makes a meal of it, but does manage to catch Bit as he charges through that smoke. JOTA, another one. But syrsoN is unable to hang on to it against chelo. Deagle in hand, it wasn't going to be an easy fight. Bomb plant down, 2-on-4 to hold the post plant. faveN and tiziaN looking for the angles. faveN has cleared out Palace, and tiziaN tucks himself in the corner right here next to stairs. Gets one. No more than that, and it'll now be on to faveN, who has to pick the pace up a little bit, has to make a bit of noise. Don't think he's been heard just yet. The defuse is not on, and he might be able to still win this one. He spots out two. faveN has done it. It's a second round on the T side for Big.
After what has been just an incredible drought for T sides on this match, Big string two together, and if we resume normal programming, I'm going to say that the CT side is probably where they're going to be closing it out. So they've really set the challenge here for MIBR to emulate or better this T side performance in the second part, the second stage of OT. Okay, they're going to be buoyed by this fact too, Big. It's been a while between drinks on the T side. JOTA, again, a lot of aggression in mid.
This time inside the smoke. I don't think MIBR have done this at all so far on the CT side, and it is going to catch syrsoN off guard, but tabseN's there for the trade, so no harm done as far as Big is concerned.
Oh, they are just running away with this at the moment, Big.
They've had enough.
Yeah. They've just decided to start winning some rounds here on the T side. But they've got that split between the two sites now, CTs. So they get proactive here, MIBR. Take some risks.
This is a 1v1 that if it goes the way of MIBR could be a difference maker, but sharp adjustment from faveN. And nothing to be done for Tuurtle either. The hopes and dreams of MIBR fading once again at the hands of what looks to be a 3-0 half in the second OT.
Big have just bided their time. Bit does actually pick up Crimbo on the way to B. But
Yeah,
that's revealed his position.
They're in a 4v1. They're still playing it so slow. Only just now getting the bomb down with 15 seconds left on the round timer.
No risks.
Looks like this time it'll work out for Big, though. No reason not to go for it for Bit, though. Might be able to pull off a highlight tier play. But you'd have to say a lot of things would have to line up for him to get this one. I think the planets really would have to align. Maybe that's one out of many, but not enough. 21 and 18 at the end of the half, and Big, again, just need one more.
Yeah, Bit would have had to have wound the clock back at least 14, 15 years to be able to do so. But finally, Big find themselves on a map point. How many times, though? I'm sure MIBR are playing a lot of those rounds back in their minds.
For sure.
They got themselves here on the precipice of taking down Big.
Well, now they've got to get 3 in a row on the T side, and T side rounds have been very hard to come by. Double Orcs out again for Big. They've had a lot of success with that, and that is not going to change. syrsoN already. 1 frag in the round, 4 more to find.
tiziaN's got that smoke positioning as well on the A ramp. He's playing around that. MIBR have had to back out of what they initially wanted to do, so this has not gone well for MIBR at the early stages of this round. This map point is not looking too good early on, unless they can retake some territory here in mid. Might be able to pick up a frag or two and just open up the map a little bit more, give themselves a little bit more room to work with.
Crimbo having a bit of peek to mid from short. He'll be challenged by chelo, but not interested in the angle anymore. He's happy to see some territory, open it up for tabseN to do the work instead. Buddy system working nicely for Big. They've got the 2-player advantage. MIBR starting to run that clock down and encroaching in onto the A bomb site. tiziaN may yet get time. Not quite, though. It's a 1-for-1, and tiziaN will be happy with that. That's good enough when you have the numbers advantage.
Big are just posturing here for this retake. So they're going to try and maintain player advantage, sit a little bit deeper. Don't want to overextend themselves. They don't want to give the pick. They just want to get into that post-plant scenario and play it from there. They've been so good at that on that CT side.
I'm not sure it's going to end up being a post-plant scenario anymore, Jim. 13 seconds left. MIBR, the bomb is still a long way away from getting planted. faveN is holding that cross with the orb as well, and they all swing and finish off JOTA. What a comeback from Big. They bring it up to 22 and 18, and Jim, can you believe that's only map 1?